All right. I think we are good. Oh, oh. Whew, Michael, my boy, what? You can't just sneak up on people like that, man. What are you doing? I, I'm trying to do a review right now, man. What do you need? I, okay. Look. I understand you want to spend time with me, but Halloween isn't for another 2 months. Okay, so we'll hang out then. Trust me, we will hang out a lot in October. Okay, we'll go trick or treating, we'll go slash some people, but right now I got to do this review. Okay, I can't spend every minute of my day with you. Okay, so just go back over to where you were, go back to Haddonfield, and then call me in October, and I'd love to hang out with you. Okay, I'm sorry, man, but we got another Mission Impossible review to do. So, all right, okay, hey, it's all right. We'll spend plenty of time together in October. All right. Don't be a stranger, Michael. That guy. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Clayton. This is my movie review channel. Today we have got Mission Impossible 4 Ghost Protocol up to bat. All right, so we're on our Mission Impossible review series right now, going through all seven of them. And we've done the first 3. Now we're on part 4. Released in 2011, directed by Brad Bird, and starring, of course, Tom Cruise. Paula Patton as Jane Carter. You got Simon Pegg coming back as Benji, and of course you got Jeremy Renner making his MI debut as William Brandt. So yeah, this was a good one. This was a really good one. This was actually the first Mission Impossible movie that I saw in theaters when it came out in 2011. I don't know why I didn't see part 3 in theaters, to be honest with you. I remember when part 3 came out, I remember hearing about it, seeing it advertised and whatever, but for whatever reason we never went to see it in theaters. So I don't know why, but I did see Ghost Protocol in theaters, and it was awesome. It was awesome. So yeah, I'm excited to get into this one. Seen it a couple times since seeing it in theaters, so it was good to come back to it for this review, and get a fresh viewing on it, because it had been a while since I'd seen part 4. So yeah, I was excited to come back to it for this review. So let's get into it, give my positive, negatives of it, and give my overall rating at the end. Just keep in mind, guys, that this is my personal opinion on this movie. My opinion isn't the right opinion. It's just my opinion. Okay, so if you feel differently about it, that's totally cool. Totally cool, bro. Don't get your panties in a wad, or as my boy Brian Lomax would say, don't get your knickers in a twist, okay? You don't have to. You're more entitled to your opinion on it. Let me know your opinion in the comment section. But that being said, let's get into Mission Impossible Part 4, brah. All right, so starting with the positives. One of the big positives for me in this one was the humor. This is definitely, I think, the funniest MI movie through these first 4 movies. There are a number of scenes in this one that make me laugh, like genuinely make me laugh out loud. It's got some really good lines, especially by Benji. He's kind of the main humor guy in the movie, the one that's dropping the humor lines, keeping that levity there throughout the runtime. I feel like that's something that the first 3 kind of miss. There were a couple of humor lines, I think, in part 3, but Benji had a much smaller role in part 3, so there wasn't as much humor in that one. It was a much more serious in my movie. Part two, I don't really remember laughing at all in part two, or in part one. So yeah, part four is definitely the one that has had the most humor in it, which I like. I like when there's decent amount of humor to go along with my action in the movie. So if I can laugh while I'm having a fun ride with the action, then I'm all about that. So and this one really delivered on that. It's action packed. There's a lot of action in it, but there's also some great humor in it. Primarily by Benji. I love his banter back and forth with Brant. Um, Jeremy Renner's character, they got some good exchanges. And yeah, there's a lot of good Benji lines in this one. So yeah, good humor, well executed, well delivered in this one, and that's definitely a strong positive for me. I like the writing in this film. I think the story here is a well flushed out story. It's coherent. It makes sense. You have reason and logic here why things are happening the way that they're happening. I think things are well explained. There's not too much exposition to where you don't want, in an action movie like this, you don't want the exposition outweighing the action. You want the action driving the movie with exposition along the way to help kind of explain things for you, and that's what Ghost Protocol does. I think it's a very well written and well structured story. So I like that. I like seeing where Ethan is now after several years have gone by, and the fact that he's now in a place where his marriage didn't work, and we have to see kind of where he is mentally, psychologically, knowing that his marriage failed. And I like what they do at the end of this movie, how they do have that last scene where he sees his wife, and they make eye contact with each other. It's just kind of a nod, like, she's okay, and she knows that he's okay, and they can kind of go their ways, and understand that it's for the greater good of both of them. Ethan realizes that with his line of work, he wasn't able to stay married to her without her always being at risk. Like, for her safety, he had to get out of that, because he realized, especially after the events of the third Mission Impossible movie, that she was in danger being with him. And so for her sake and for her safety, he had to leave. And he realized that. So, and I also like that there wasn't another like romantic interest for Ethan in this movie, because that just throws you back into the loop of repeating what every action, or what so many action movies have. You got to have that love interest for the protagonist to fall in love with the girl and get the girl in the end. And it's so unoriginal, and it's so just annoying at this point, seeing it all the time. And it wouldn't really make sense for the character of Ethan either, to just have another love interest after, the girl in the first one didn't work out, girl in the second one didn't work out, marriage doesn't work out, so now we're moving right into the next. It's like, I wouldn't even buy it at that point. I wouldn't buy it. So yeah, I'm glad that they didn't go there in this one. They left it hanging, and I like that. So, well written story, good script, good dialogue writing for the characters. I like the character of Brant by Jeremy Renner. I think he was a good addition to this film. And I liked his performance that he gives of Brant. I love Jeremy Renner. He's definitely one of my favorite, like, action stars. I love everything he's in. I think he's one of those actors that makes the films that he's in better. One of the reasons I like the Avenger movies is because of Jeremy Renner. I think he adds a lot to those movies. That he's the reason why I personally prefer 28 weeks later over 28 days later. I'm one of the few guys that actually prefers 28 weeks later over 28 days later because of Jeremy Renner. I love Jeremy Renner. I would take Jeremy Renner every day of the week and twice on Sunday over Cillian Murphy. So to me, Jeremy Renner is a much better actor. He's much more entertaining than Cillian Murphy. So yeah, I love 28 Weeks Later because of Jeremy Renner. I do like 28 Days Later as well. That's another good movie. But to me, of the two, I'm going with 28 Weeks Later. So yeah, I like him in this movie as well. Good addition. Good first appearance in this one. I think he comes in a good spot. He fits the story here, and just a really good addition. I think he gives a good performance as Brant in this one, and he also has some humor. He's got that typical Jeremy Renner humor where he's not overly comedic, but he knows just how to drop certain lines in the films that he's in to add some humor layers to his character, and he does that in this one. So yeah, I really liked his character and the writing as a whole, the story writing, the script writing, the character writing, it's all there for me. So well done on that front. Other acting, again, Simon Pegg as Benji is great. I think he gives a great performance as that character. Tom Cruise does a great job, as always, playing Ethan Hunt. I thought Paula Patton, who plays Jane Carter, I thought she does a good job here. I believe her. I think she's also a good addition into this team of agents. I think she has good chemistry with the guys here, good rapport. She's believable. I'm bought into her character, into her performance. I thought she did a really good job here. So yeah, all the actors by the lead agent people I liked. I thought they all did a really good job in this movie. So the acting was there, the writing was there. I thought it was well directed by Brad Bird. I thought it looked really good. There are a couple problems I have with the directing, and I'm going to go ahead and go into my negatives now with the film. There are a few negatives I do have. One of them in particular with the directing is the CGI. The CGI for me did not look very good in this film. There's a number of scenes, visual effects, where the CGI is really noticeable and it doesn't really blend well. I don't think it was executed. One example is like when they're in Russia and that Russian building collapses and Cruise is doing the high hands trying to get away, and the building, like that whole scene, the CGI really sticks out and it doesn't look really good. The missile towards the end, once the missile is launched, I don't think the CGI there in that sequence was pulled off really effectively. It wasn't bad, it wasn't horrible CGI, but it was noticeable. It was noticeable that it was fake, and that kind of pulled me out of those scenes a little bit. I think Bird could have executed better CGI there for those effects. If they couldn't have the practical means to pull it off for whatever reason. So that was a negative for me. Another negative for me, I do have to say, was as far as the writing. Overall, the writing was good, but there was like a portion in the beginning where Cruise is in the Russian prison, and they spend that whole opening sequence with Cruise trying to get out of the prison and him trying to get his Russian prisoner friend out with him. But it was all for nothing. That whole sequence didn't do anything for the movie. His character, his friend, Russian friend, didn't really do anything for the story, other than he was the guy that knew the other guy that Cruise was trying to get information out of. But you could have substitute anybody in. You could have substitute Ving Rhames' character in for that. That that character didn't add anything for the story. He didn't add anything for the plot of this film. I felt like that whole sequence was kind of wasted. You could have just started. You could have. So the way I think they could have ended the opening sequence was with the death of the one agent who died during that mission. Cut it off there and then go into the story, and you could have had Ethan's whole prison narrative just expositional. Like, you didn't, I don't think you necessarily needed to show that, because it didn't do anything for the rest of the film. So I thought that was kind of poorly written and executed there. But overall, the writing was really good. It's just that sequence, when I watched it, I'm like, there's no real point to this being here. So, and then the I gotta talk about the scene in Dubai, the Dubai scene. Oh, dude, one of the coolest and best scenes in the MI franchise was that Dubai scene when he's climbing the wall and then he's running down the wall and swings. Dude, that scene was awesome, and they pulled it off incredibly. So big props to Brad Bird for directing that sequence. Phenomenal, great scene. But there's also a negative in that, in the sense that how was nobody noticing Ethan climbing that wall? Like, you would think in this, the tallest building in the world, apparently, you think there would be enough security in that building to notice someone outside the windows climbing the walls, and yet nobody says anything. Nobody notices this guy climbing the wall. No one reports anything. Like, he just gets away with it. I think there's a little too much plot armor there for Ethan, how he just always manages to kind of get out of the scenarios. And that was kind of established really in the second one, but they take that to the next level here. I think there's a little too much plot armor with how Ethan was able to go undetected during that scene, or how he's always able to get out of the situations unscathed. A little too much, but yeah, not a whole lot of negatives here for me. I really liked it. I do have to say, though, the one other negative for me personally was the antagonist in this movie. I don't think, especially going from Philip Seymour Hoffman's antagonist character in the third one to this one, I think it was a big drop off. We didn't really get introduced to the main antagonist of this movie until pretty late into the film. There's kind of some sleight of hand trickery. You're led to believe this one guy's the antagonist, and then it moves to this other guy's the main antagonist, and then it changes to this other guy's the main antagonist. Like, I feel like they could have done better getting us invested with one main antagonist throughout the film and have him be really effective. I wasn't that bought into the main antagonist in this movie. I don't think he didn't seem that imposing. He didn't seem that threatening. His character wasn't that entertaining to me. So I definitely think that was a step down from Philip Seymour Hoffman's antagonist character, Owen Davian, in the third one. So yeah, that would be another negative for me, was the antagonist in this movie. So that's it, though, guys. Yeah, really like this movie. I give it 4 stars out of 5. A great film. This is the first MI movie here that I can say I truly love and think it's a great film. I thoroughly enjoyed coming back to it and seeing it again this time around for this review. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section. What would you rate this film? What were your thoughts on it? Let me know. I'd love to hear from you guys on this one. But so far, through these first 4 Mission Impossible movies, this is my favorite one. So great stuff in there. Love the comedy, love the characters, the writing, the story. It was a great film. So 4 stars. That's my rating for MI4 Ghost Protocol. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time, as always, kick it, and rock on.